So I like to imagine that since you've all had an extra hour, that we can go a little bit longer this morning. What we don't always do when we worship is slow down and take breaths. I know some of you really have a rhythm to your days, to your week, to your life, and that you credit that with being intentional and paced and finding ways to breathe and to focus along the way. So you heard us when we first began worship, quoting something that hangs out in the narthex before you enter into the sanctuary. And it invites us to pause. It tells us to remember our story, our history, our people, the places that we've come from, and to be in that space before we go back into the now, into this moment, the responsibilities and opportunities, the challenges and the burdens and the delights in the present. And so I'll read it again. It says, "Peace be to all who visit this sacred house of God, sanctified by years of prayer. Pause a while. Allow the past to speak words of comfort to your soul. Then add your prayer to ours before you go forth from the calm of this shelter into the busy world." So it's All Saints' Day, and it's an opportunity for us to slow down, to stop, to breathe, and to remember, to catch up with the people who are no longer physically with us, but who remain with us spiritually and who remain a part of everything that happens because they have been completely enveloped by God. And so we think about Steve Pennico and Bill Owens and Pat Klein and Marv and Gail Haggard and Scott Clifford, the church folk who died in this past year since we gathered here last November. And we take a deep breath to remember them. And we take a deep breath to send the spirit of gentleness and peace and strength upon their families. And we take a deep breath to carry parts of them forward, their personalities, their passions. And we give thanks for this sanctuary that was built by people who had vision, by people who had some of the same struggles that we do, who lived life exuberantly, who were exhausted, who were frustrated, who had gifts and resources, who had hope, and who felt deeply rooted in their faith. And they had doubts, and they had questions, and they had things that didn't seem to let them go. And they pushed through and pushed on, lived in partnership with the earth and with others. And I like to imagine when we come over here, all of the ups and downs that they went through, all of the struggles that they had personally and with their families and with the faith community and with the wider community, as they thought about this land, as they thought about the people across the oceans, as they did or did not have connections with people in other places, but they survived, and they helped the church to thrive so that we're still here. They made a way through all of the things that they had to deal with all of the things they encountered, with all of the sneaky things, and with all of the things that gave them joy and put a spring in their step. And when we're over here, I like to imagine that they are hearing us and feeling us, and we are doing the same. They're singing these pews with you. They're in front of you and behind you. They're up in the choir loft. They are in this space with us. They inhabited this space, and they continue to be in this space with us. We give thanks for those who have come and gone, and we give thanks for those who are yet to come. who will learn their story and learn our story and carve out their own way of being faithful in the time that they come. I continue to be in awe of the fact that the people in this place envisioned something additional as they moved across the street, as they built a new sanctuary, as they ventured forth, surely not wanting to leave this behind. You so called us in, and you know this is not an easy place to leave. But they felt for some reason that they were called to do something different. They were called to take their story and to widen it and deepen it and to find new ways to being faithful. And one of the beautiful things is this sanctuary is continually used every Sunday by another group of immigrants, because we were originally German immigrant farmers. And so now we have people from India who are immigrants who have been worshiping in this space. They're across the street now, worshiping as we've changed sides, as they think about their paths, where they have been, where they're going, how we're all called to belong to each other, to be committed to each other. We celebrated World Communion Sunday together several weeks ago across the street. And in January, we'll get back to something that we had been doing before the pandemic, and that was sharing a meal together on a Sunday after we each had our own worship services, coming together around a table to share stories, to answer questions, to engage in some community building and in a small service project. And so look for that at the end of January. And our new faith partners, we call it Intertwine. We have been with Sheramet, the Reformed Jewish Synagogue up the street, and TASOM, the Turkish American Society of Missouri, for several years. And on the Thursday before Thanksgiving, Thursday evening, at Sheramet up the street, we will have a Thanksgiving meal with our friends from Turkey. Don't giggle. And they will tell stories of being immigrants. They will tell their story of coming to America as we remember other stories of people coming to America. And so we continue this story of remembering, of belonging, of finding ways to keep our story alive and to recognize the similarities that we have with others and the call, indeed, to belong to each other and to carry each other's stories and to lean on each other and encourage each other and prop each other up and pray for each other and push each other along. And so it's All Saints Day, and we glance at the photos, and we know that there's so much more there. We see some of the other artifacts there, and remember not only the faces, but the things and the feelings and the lessons and the stories, the leadings, and the moments of clarity and confusion, and the moments of faithfulness and of being broken and afraid, because we're all in the human condition. None of us has it all figured out, and we need to be with each other and to be gracious and kind. And so we have our story of Zacchaeus today. And so Zacchaeus was up in a tree. Zacchaeus was a tax collector, and he actually was over several other tax collectors. And so he probably, as it says in the story, was very rich. And he probably was not well received by the people, because who likes a tax collector? And so he was surely in collaboration with Rome. He was surely the one who took things away when they needed them. And so this is a story about Zacchaeus somehow not knowing, not feeling comfortable with his situation. If he was fine with what he had been doing, he wouldn't have climbed up in that tree to try to see this Jesus. We're in Luke chapter 19, and so a lot of things have happened when we get to Luke 19. And so somehow Zacchaeus had a sense of who this Jesus might be, because he heard stories. Maybe he had seen him before. Maybe he had talked with people who had been present for Jesus' miracles. Maybe he met with people who had been healed. Maybe he found something calling him, something compelling about Jesus, and he had to see him. Because Zacchaeus is short in stature, he climbed that sycamore tree so that he could get a glimpse of this Jesus. And surely he just didn't want to see him, but he wanted to feel him. He wanted his own experience of Jesus so that he could see if there was anything there. Maybe Zacchaeus felt disoriented. Maybe he felt incomplete. There was something that caused him to look for something different, to look for something new. And in that moment, Jesus saw him, because Jesus honors and cherishes all people, especially those who have been forgotten, those who have been pushed aside, those who have not had access. And so he noticed Zacchaeus right away and called to him and said, "Come down, I will spend time at your house today," making sure that that hospitality and that welcome, that inclusion has always been there with Jesus. And it's always an opportunity for us as Jesus people to do the same kinds of things. And so Zacchaeus came down from the tree and he immediately told Jesus that he was going to pay back the people that he had wronged. Jesus didn't say anything about that. Jesus didn't say anything except, "Come down, I see you, I want to spend time with you, I want to go to your house." And Zacchaeus immediately talked about giving back to the people that he had taken things from. It's almost as if he was quoting from Exodus 22 that gives us a guide for retributive justice, for giving back to people what we have taken from them. And so Zacchaeus was committed to economic justice. Probably not what was in his mind. I'm going to engage in economic justice. But it's one of the things that happens when we look at Jesus, when we listen to him, when we feel his call. We do what we can to make our relationships right. We do what we can to heal social fabrics that have been worn or torn. We do what we can in our context, with our gifts, with our responsibilities, with our story, with our past, with those who are around us, to try to make community better, to try to serve each other, belong to each other, to try to find ways to be engaged in making life more beautiful, in taking away some of the burdens and the pains and the struggles that people have. Sometimes that's when people are grieving. Sometimes that's when people are hungry. Sometimes that's when people have been pushed aside or forgotten or ignored. Sometimes that's when people are ill, when people are ill physically or mentally. There are no shortages to the number of ways, to the places and times where we can engage with Jesus-like behavior, with Christ-like words and ways. And so the question, I believe, for us today is to figure out what in us is unsettled. We come here because we still find Jesus compelling. There's something about his persona. There's something about his ways of being in the world. There's something about his miracles and his healings. There's something about the way he talks about God and talks about community that calls to us. And so we have to breathe and pause and wait a while and open up all of our senses so that we can hear exactly what Jesus is saying to each of us. For I believe Jesus tells each of us something different, because of our contexts, because of our stories, because of our past, because of our resources and gifts, for such a time as this. And so Jesus wants to speak with you, wants to encourage you, wants you to find a way to make a difference, wants you to be a saint who loves, a saint who listens, a saint who gives of themselves, a saint who also is one who receives. For none of us is called to do all of it, but we are invited to be part of the community, part of the believers, part of the beloved community. Please pray with us. God, we are here in this sacred space, this historic sanctuary, to remember and to give thanks and to find our own renewal, because we need to go back out into the world. We need not only look backward, but we need to look forward. We need to see where we are needed. We need to recognize the places of pain and brokenness, the places of injustice, economic and communal, medical, kinds of ways that we haven't quite measured up or lived up to the challenge and the opportunity to be people together, to be the beloved community. And so help us, O God, again to clear the rubble, clear the obstacles, so that we can hear you when you call our name, whether we are up in a tree or at home or on the road or at work or at leisure or in the middle of pain or struggle of our own. You call to us, you turn toward us, and you invite us to be in relationship. And you invite us to partner with you and the Holy Spirit to help set each other free and to help justice along its way. And so, God, encourage us, help us to lean on each other, to learn from each other, to respect and honor and cherish each other as Jesus honored and respected and included all of your people. May we have wisdom. May we have nurture from this table that we are approaching. May we listen to each other's stories. May we be a place of rest and a place of belonging for each other in our grief and in our growth. And as we seek to be the beloved community you have told us about, given us a taste of, and help us to see that it is possible and that it is real for us to be in love with each other and to do the loving thing and to receive love as it moves around us and through us. Amen.